Good afternoon. I'm gonna oh, maybe that's too much. I always do this. It's just my mode of operation. Okay. Anyway, I'll start over again. It is good afternoon. And I want to take this opportunity before I start what I was going to do to thank you, just a thanks to all the new subscribers. And I thought I would just sort of go over. I'm 81 and I started this video series just to show a little bit of a slice of my life. I don't think that perhaps I'm doing it better than anybody else in their 80s, or I don't even know if I'm average, but it's how I'm doing it, and hopefully it might help some of you that are headed for the 80s or even in the 80s. But if you're not in the 80s, this will give you a little bit idea what you're headed for, and it isn't all that bad. You know, it has its ups and downs. I'm not as spry as I was when I was in my 50s or 60s or even 70s. But I enjoy life, and I'm very thankful for it, and gratitude is my word. I'm very grateful. So thank you, and because I'm just a crazy lady with a camera, I don't have any way to edit it. I can't take out all my bloopers. And I went back and I listened. I told you I cut my little finger in the blender. Well, that would be near impossible, and if you did, maybe it would even cut the tip of your finger off. I don't know. But what it was those big Hamilton Beach whippers, mixers. And I think, it's hard to remember because I was 26. I had my fourth child by then. He was just a baby. Tom had gotten a motorcycle accident and hurt his knee. And for some reason, I think when I put that mixer together, it was when I was putting it together, I somehow hit the on button and I got and actually I don't even know which little, it's probably was this one, but there it was in the mixer. So don't do that. And I don't know if they even make those anymore. And then I heard myself pronouncing Tasmania wrong. Now, since I did it wrong, I have to really think. But I want you to tell you, maybe some of you don't even know where it is. Well, it's part of Australia, but it's an island 150 miles from south of Australia. And when you look at how the weather temperatures are, it looks pretty good. But you know, they have wind and they have humid days, and they're heading into winter right now. And my friend, my video friend, Marie-Louise, she lives there and she tells me about it. And actually, she's in my future. She's 17 hours from now. Let's see. Or maybe she's already done. No, she's living in tomorrow. And I'm still in today, so she's in my future. It's mind-boggling, but there it is. And I enjoy you. Thank you for being there. Okay, now what I wanted to do today, I listened to Rinda yesterday, and if you haven't seen her video, I don't know if it was yesterday's. Anyway, in the last few days, she made a video about making her sausage out of turkey and lamb, and it brought back nice memories because we used to make our lamb burgers into sausage. And I had read the series of Little Britches. I don't know if any of you know what that is or remember it, but it was a neat series of stories Little Britches, and I think it was based on true stories. Anyway, his mother made lots of sausage, and I think she sold it, but she made it out of poor grade hamburger. I think older cows that maybe weren't in the best shape, and they'd turn it into hamburger and then turn it into sausage. And it told a recipe, and that's what I used, but I can't remember what it was. So I was just curious about the whole thing. What spices do they use to make sausage with? Well, I've got a whole list, and I'm going to go through them. Allspice, bay leaf, cayenne, cinnamon, cloves, chili peppers, coriander, cumin, fennel, ginger, nutmeg, ginger, paprika, pepper, red and black, sage, naturally you put salt in, thyme, marjoram, oregano, and parsley, and I might have missed some. But I got to thinking about that, and I thought, well, it would be fun to make some different mixes, something I've never tried before, and just something I invented. So you won't find it in a spice mix recipe, I don't think. So I decided, being that the kind of person I am, I start at the beginning and go through the whole list, I decided that this one would feature allspice. So it's going to be my all-purpose, allspice sausage. And what I've got in my bowl is a little over a pound of hamburger. And from what I can gather on the internet and different recipes, they use about, for 2 pounds, they use about 3 tablespoons plus of spices, and that's not counting the salt. So I thought in this I would put in about 1.5 tablespoons of spices. That seems like a lot, but I'm going to try it. Okay, and then I was going to show you some of this, but I got carried away. I have my little, it's probably still hot, but I'll show you. My little frying pan that I only roast my spices. And because I thought it would be making more than I'll be putting in the meat, I wanted to roast it, most of it. So, I'll tell you the spices that I chose, and I don't know if you can see them on my plate. They're not ground up yet. What I have in here is 2 tablespoons of the allspice. And I want to tell you just a little bit about allspice. It is loaded with antioxidants. So they are really researching this out right now. They know it helps high blood pressure, but they think it will be good for other things too. And then I decided I would go with I'm only going to do 4. And I can add later if I want to or change. Anyway, then I did the cumin, and I've got 2 tablespoons. I wrote down my recipe, wait just a minute, because I want to tape it to my jar when I'm done, so I'll know when I did it and what it is. Okay, I've got 2 tablespoons of allspice. Oh, another thing about allspice, if you're out of like cinnamon, let's see what it is, say. Okay, you're out of cinnamon, cloves, or nutmeg, whatever that recipe calls for of all or any of that, you can put equal portions of allspice and substitute it, and you'll have basically the same thing. But you can't take any of those 3, cinnamon, cloves, and nutmeg, and really make allspice. And allspice also gives it a sort of a kick, peppery taste sometimes. It was used hundreds of years ago to preserve meat. And that's what a lot of why we use spices. I mean, that's how it started. They didn't have refrigerators. They had to preserve it somehow. So the spices did that. They did it in the meat. They did it in our baked goods. They did it in all sorts of foods that we put it in. That's why it started. And that's why it was so important, and it cost a lot of money at one time. It was their refrigeration. It was their, well, not refrigeration, but it helped preserve it, and it helped to keep them well. Okay, oh, now I forget what I was going to say. So there you have it. Okay, anyway, I've got the 2 tablespoons of allspice, 1 tablespoon of cumin, 2 teaspoons of black pepper. I don't know if that's enough, but I think it might. And 1 tablespoon of oregano. Okay, these need to be ground up, and then I'm going to put some garlic in it. And if I had garlic powder, which I don't, this would be the time to use it because it's more stable in a mix. So bear with me. I'm going to put these spices in my grinder, and then we'll mix it in. I'm getting it mostly in my grinder. I only lost about 3 allspices, and I'm collecting them. There they are. There's my doggie. Tom?
Yes.
I wonder if we have somebody at our front door. They didn't ring the bell. Okay, this made quite a bit. And I still have the oregano. Oh, what did I do with the oregano? I didn't want to grind it. Okay. And I am putting okay, what did I do with my little recipe? Oh, right there in front of me. Okay, I want about a tablespoon of that. This is a 2 tablespoons. It looks about half of it. Okay, I'm going to mix that all together. Okay. And then I'm just gonna, well, here, I'm not, it might, I might put it all in the meat. Okay, I'm gonna chop up my little garlic, and we'll go for it. And I should have had this all minced up before we did this. Be prepared. Could have been just the mailman. My doggie barks at the mailman every day. Same mailman. Okay, I think Rhonda used onions in hers. And I think she had a nice recipe. Anyway, go back and check out hers. Okay, and that's the hardiness approach. Okay, they're in there. We haven't got the salt. I'm going to mix the salt in with the spices before I do. I have no idea how much salt. I don't know. I don't want it too salty. I can always add salt. Okay, so there's my 2 tablespoons, and I want a little more, yes, and it made it extra. There, I put in about 3 tablespoons of that spice mix. And now, this will be a 2-part video, I suppose, because after I mix it in, I want it to just sit here and absorb it, so I won't be cooking it, and I have no way to pause. And tomorrow when I tell you, hey, it was a success, or I should have done this, you'll just have to believe me, or you'll have to try this yourself, or try something else. But have Be creative. You can do it. You have permission. When you read those recipes, they were made by people. And you're a people. I'm a people. I can do it. I think it smells good. I know it smells like something to eat. Okay, I'm just going to let that sit, like I say, and we're going to eat it later on and find out what we have. So I'm going to wash my hands and tell you good day. And be creative. Okay. And I am thankful with much gratitude to be in the 80s, actually. I'm glad I'm here.